Welcome to tonight's video on Unit 7, Part 1, talking about ratios and proportions. So ratios and proportions, a quick review from Algebra 1. Remember, a ratio is a comparison of two numbers. You could view it as a fraction. You could say one number to another, or you could say one number colon another number. An extended ratio is a comparison of three or more numbers. So basically, you'll just be extending it out to three terms instead of two. And a proportion is two ratios that are set equal to each other. And remember, in a proportion, the cross products are equal. AD is equal to BC. All right, and that'll help us to solve any proportion. Like, for example, number 1, 6y is equal to 9 times 18.2. So then you divide by 6, and you get y is equal to 27.3. For number 2, 6 times 4x minus 5 is equal to 3 times negative 26. So you get 24x minus 30 equals negative 78. You add 30. So 24x equals negative 48, and then x equals negative 2. So go ahead and try the next two on your own, and then I'll show you the answers. All right, so looking at 3 and 4, go ahead and take a moment to look at those, and hopefully those are the answers that you got. All right, so the next couple are word problems. The number of students who participate in sports programs at Central High School is 520. The total number of students is 1,850. So 520 participate in sports out of 1,850. Find the athlete to student athlete ratio to the nearest tenth. So that means basically you're going to reduce this fraction. So you can make that 52 over 185, and that would be your answer. Or you could make it as 52 to 185, or you could say 52 to 185, like that. Any of those are correct. All right, the country with the longest school year is China at 251 days. Find the ratio of school days to total days in a year. Well, remember there's 365 days in a year. So 251 divided by 365, or you could write it as 251 to 365, or 251 to 365. But remember, it's school days to total days. Monique randomly served 30 students from her class and found that 18 had surveyed 30 students from her class and found that 18 had a dog or cat for a pet. If there are 870 students in Monique's school, predict the total number of students with a dog or cat. So in her class, there was 18 out of 30. But you want to know, if you surveyed the whole school, how many you think based on that ratio. So 18 over 30 equals x over 870. So you cross multiply, so 30x equals 18 times 870. And then divide by 30. And x equals 522 students would have a dog or a cat as a pet. All right, so the next one, Brittany randomly surveyed 50 students and found 20 had a part-time job. If there are 810 students in Brittany's school, predict the total number of students with a part-time job. So 20 out of 50 had a part-time job, but now out of 810, how many do you think would? So same thing, we cross multiply and divide. to get x equals 324. All right, so in EFG triangle, the ratio of the measures of the angles is 5 to 12 to 13. Find the measure of the angles. Well, think about it this way. In EFG, it's 5x, 12x, 13x, and we know that all the angles add up to 180, so 5x plus 12x plus 13x. So then 17 plus 13 is 30x equals 180. So x equals 6. So that means the measure of angle E is 5 times 6, which is 30. The measure of angle F is 12 times 6, which is 72 degrees. And the measure of angle G is 13 times 6, which is 78 degrees. So those are the three angles. So go ahead and try the next one, and I'll show you the answer. All right, so there are the answers for number 10. Look it over. So for number 11, a strip of wood molding is 33 inches long. So the whole strip of wood is 33 inches. And it's cut into two pieces whose lengths are 7 to 4. So you have 7x and you have 4x. But if you add them together, 7x plus 4x equals 33. So to find the length of the two pieces, you have to find out what x is, and you get that x is 3. So piece number 1 is 7 times 3, which is 21 inches. And piece number 2 is 4 times 3, which is 12 inches. And there's the two pieces. All right, there are 480 sophomores and 520 juniors in a high school. Find the ratio of juniors to sophomores. So 480 over, so it's juniors to sophomores, so juniors come first. So 520 to 480. When you reduce that, well, you can cross out the zeros, and then 2 goes into each one. Actually, 4 goes into each one, so it's 13 over 12. So the ratio of juniors to sophomores is 13 to 12. All right, go ahead and try 13 and 14 on your own, and then I'll show you the answers. All right, so go ahead and look at the last two. And that concludes our video for part 1, just ratios and proportions. And we're going to use a lot of the stuff for part 2, which talks about similar triangles. All right, I will see you in part 2.